welcome to Celebrate Sicily Day 3. I'm so glad you joined me today. I'm thrilled to be showing you one of my easy recipes. We actually had this recipe in Armchair, which is a hilltop town on the very top of a mountain. I promise you, you need to go to the blog post on tasteandsavor.com to see the view just from the entrance of this little tiny hilltop town down to the valley. There, it looks like somebody dropped a piece of thread, and that was the road that we came up the mountain on. So, what are we making today, and what's this called? It's called This Cauliflower Gratin. By any other name would be still delicious. And the reason I say that is because did you know in Sicily that cauliflower is not called cauliflower? Unlike anywhere else in the world, it's called broccolo, which sounds a lot like what? Broccoli to me. And it was very confusing. However, I figured it out, and you can see the whole story and what broccoli's called on the Taste and Savor blog. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with a couple of things. I'm gonna get my onions sauteing so I can show you the rest of this yummy recipe. So I'm not using my stove because I have to turn my back to you, so I've got a little induction burner right here. And on the induction burner, I have got my cast iron skillet. So this is what's so cool about this recipe. You can make it in a casserole dish like that glass casserole dish we used yesterday, or you can make it in a cast iron skillet. This one's my mom's, it's very special to me. Or you can make it in an enameled cast iron skillet or an enameled cast iron casserole dish. So I'm going to use my cast iron though today, and I'm starting off with a couple tablespoons of oil in here, and I'm using this beautiful Sicilian olive oil from Murgo today. Here we go. So there's a couple of tablespoons of oil. Next up, I'm going to put in some red onions. Now in my recipe, which is on the Taste and Savor blog, I call for 2 cups of red onion. But y'all, I chopped 1 red onion about this size, and it ended up with this many onions. So I'm just gonna use them because I love onions, and after we cook them down, they're gonna get super sweet and delicious. If you need a primer on how to chop onions, you can go to Taste and Savor TV. There's also a link on my website, tasteandsavor.com, and you can find out how to easily chop onions. So now that the oil is a little bit warm, I'm gonna put my onions right in there, and I didn't pull a wooden spoon out, so I'm going to do that right now. And stir my onions up a little bit. Now I'm gonna put something else in my onions, so while they cook down and saute and get sweet, I am going to put in some red pepper flakes. So these are red pepper flakes. We used them on Monday. I'm not going to use a lot of them. I call for a teaspoon to a tablespoon in the recipe. I'm just going to sprinkle them in with my onions. Of course, Mike and I like a little zippity-doo-dah, so we have, I put a little bit more than a teaspoon in here. The other thing I'm going to put in is I'm going to grab my salt lady, and I'm going to sprinkle this with salt. And then I'm going to grab my cool pepper grinder and use my pepper grinder. And don't you know that that wonderful husband of mine fixed my big pepper grinder? Yes! So I can use it. No need to buy another one. That makes me happy, right? Every time you can fix something and don't have to buy another one, that's awesome. Okay, it makes a lot of noise, but oh y'all, it is such an easy pepper grinder to use. And I think I told you I bought it at Cook's Warehouse. It wasn't super expensive, and it really works well. So I've got my pepper, I've got my salt, I've got my onions, and a little bit, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there. I'm stirring up just a little bit to get it going, and I've got it on high now, so it'll start to burble in just a second. Okay, so while these onions are cooking, I wanted to show you and tell you a little bit more about a couple of our other ingredients. And that is, this is a cauliflower gratin. So I wanted to show you a little bit about the easiest way to cook cauliflower. Y'all, do not get out the pot of boiling water and bowl of ice water. You don't have to do that. Let's not get that dirty. Somebody's got to clean it. It's probably going to be you. So let's do something easy and different. So what I did was I took the whole head of cauliflower, and I called for about a 2-pound head of cauliflower. I had 2 heads today, one to show you and one to use, and I weighed both of them. One of them weighed about 2.2 pounds, the other one weighed about 2.8 pounds. So it just needs to be around 2 pounds. Don't get too persnickety about the exact weight, and it should look a lot like this to be about 2 pounds. So there's my beautiful cauliflower. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, and they have been on sale so often recently. This is a white cauliflower, but I also see green, purple, and orange in the grocery stores now. And did you know that in Sicily, cauliflower is typically either green or purple? And I've got some green cauliflower on that Taste and Savor blog post. The pictures are beautiful. And oh my gosh, y'all, I have a picture on the blog post with holding a cauliflower. Actually, Mike is holding a €5 note above the cauliflower. And it's so big, y'all, it looks like the €5 note is about 2 inches long. That's how big the heads of cauliflower are, or broccolo if you are in Sicily. So when I started with the cauliflower, I just want to show you this. I took off the stem of the cauliflower and the leaves. Do not throw these away, people. If you slice these very thinly, they make a great saute because what do they taste like? Cauliflower. So if you're doing a stir fry, or you can add them to your soup stock or your soup base, when you're sauteing your onions, do some thinly sliced cauliflower and it will add a little cauliflower flavor. So never throw this away. And last but not least, add it to your stock bag. So that's how many cauliflower leaves and stem I got off just one cauliflower. So we would never want to waste that. All right, I hear a little burbling happening here, just a little. Come on, let's keep going, people, here. You know, if you talk to your food, it works better. It acts better, I guess I should say. That's very silly, sorry. All right, so come on, let's get going. So there's the cauliflower. Next up, I want to, how did I cook it? That's your next question, right? Okay, so a big head of cauliflower like this is probably going to take 2 bowls. So I've got one bowl here, and then I've got another bowl. So guess what I did? I cooked my cauliflower in the microwave. You're thinking to yourself, she's a chef. She has a microwave? Yes, I use a microwave for preparation and for reheating. That's pretty much it. But I'm prepping this cauliflower, and a microwave does a great job with any cruciferous vegetable like this. I do cauliflower this way, I do broccoli, I do green beans, I do anything that is beany, veggie, or cruciferous in the microwave. And I just cook it for about 2 minutes. And you see what I did is I have a little piece of like wax paper on top, and then I put a little top on, put it in the bowl without any water or anything. You can tell how much water is coming off of the cooked vegetable, and it's actually kind of steaming it. Let me clean up my board here. So here we go. So I just put a lid. This is just a standard microwave lid, and I've got the wax paper or deli sheet underneath it, and then see how wet it gets because cauliflower has a lot of water in it. So this was 2 minutes. I opened it up, stirred it around a little bit, and nuked it for 1 more minute. So now I've got my cauliflower done without having to get out a pan, water, an ice bath, or anything else. And so what you're looking for is just crisp, tender, and about 3 minutes will do that on high power on your microwave. So that's my cauliflower. Okay, so next up, I want to talk to you about olives. And olives, you can use any kind of olive in this, y'all. I wouldn't use like some of those wimpy black olives or something like that, but I would use something that has some flavor. Kalamata olives. I find oil-cured olives in some of the Publix store, and of course I find them at Buford Highway. And then those bright green olives, Castelvetrano, which are actually Sicilian olives. And I got to go the last time I was in Sicily. I got to go to Castelvetrano, the motherland of those Sicilian green olives. They are wonderful. They're super meaty, super flavorful. And I've got a bag here I want to show you. This is from Sicily. One nice thing is when you visit and when you go on trips with people like me, I got all the scoop on how to bring things home. This they vacuum sealed it for us. So I brought home maybe 6 or 12 packages of olives in my suitcase that are vacuum packed. And then when I got home, I just threw them in the fridge. I'm planning on using them for the next 6 months. But you can buy the Castelvetrano olives, the pretty green olives, in the grocery store. There is a California company called Mazzetti that makes the Castelvetrano, and you can find them in almost any olive condiment section in your grocery store. So those are the olives. I also wanted to show you, I'm missing my knife, so I'm going to grab a knife. I also want to show you how to pit olives if they have pits in them. Now, if you buy the Mazzetti Castelvetrano olives, they're already pitted. You can get the already pitted ones. Same thing with Calmatas. Sometimes I even find the oil cured olives. Oh, the other place I get oil cured olives is in the Olive Bar, like at Whole Foods or Sprouts, someplace like that. They're actually cured with oil, and they're tougher. Their skins are tougher and they're shiny because they're oily. But anyway, this is how you easily get the pits out of olives. You do not have to carve around your olive. All you have to do is take a chef's knife or a santuku like this, and I do it 2 at a time, put your olives down on the board, and then just lean on your olives, on your knife blade. And what happens is, look at this. La! The pits, they kind of just pop right out. So that's the best way to pit your olives and the easiest way. You can use a cherry pitter, but I find that even takes a little longer than this. You just set up a little production line. I call for between a half and a cup of olives for this. So if you set up yourself a little production line and just go ahead and mash all the olives first, 2 at a time, and push them aside, and then go through and take the pits out, and then you're going to want to chop your olives. I find when I pit my olives myself, I almost always leave a pit in there, so it's really great to chop those olives because you don't want anybody to get an olive pit. All right, I'm going to put these right in here after I chop them just a little bit. And there are my olives. We like olives here, so we've got quite a few of them. All right, so here we go. All right, so your red onion should take about, oh, it smells so good in here, should take about 6 to 8 minutes on medium to medium-high heat. I always jack the heat up a little bit to get them going really well. And we used about 2 tablespoons of oil in there. So they are getting translucent and soft right now. So after these have cooked down, I'm going to add a couple more ingredients. And the ingredients I'm going to add are some cauliflower. So as Rachel Ray says, into the pool. So there's one, and you should have seen how much water there was in the bottom of the bowl from the cauliflower. That's fine. So there we go. There's the other one. So I'm going to set my 2 bowls aside. And then I'm going to take my tongs, and I'm going to kind of move my cauliflower and my onions around a little bit. If you have a deeper casserole, it's a little easier, but I still like putting it in the cast iron pan. It reminds me of my mother, which makes me happy. And it looks so pretty when it comes out. You can bring this to the table, y'all. This can be used as a main course because it does have a little nuts on it, or you can put it as a side for something meaty. Okay, so there goes my cauliflower in there. And here, I'm going to show you in just a minute. So there goes the cauliflower. The other things that go in at this time, I just wanted to get my cauliflower started there. The other thing that goes in there is my olives. So my lovely Sicilian olives. Again, you can use Calmata, oil cured olives. So there they go in. Ooh, I don't want to miss any. So there they are. Okay. And There's my olives to go in there. Now, I've got some parsley because I do like the green in here. We're only gonna cook this for about 20 more minutes just to get all the cheese and melty a little bit. So just fresh parsley, chopped up, fabulous in here. So there goes my parsley right in there. Ah, what did I forget? I forgot the garlic. So I'm gonna have to really move this around in the pan a little bit to get it incorporated well. If I had remembered earlier, I would have put it in right when the onions were finished. So here goes my, my induction burner is talking to itself. Actually, I guess it's talking to me. So there goes my garlic in there, and I am getting it well incorporated into my pan. So if you're doing this in a casserole dish, might be a little easier to get it moved around because you can do it in a bowl and then pour it into your casserole dish. If you do that, you want a really well-oiled casserole dish. Okay, now, next up, let me move this back a little bit. And I'm gonna turn that back up. Next up, what I'm gonna do, there we go. Did y'all hear that sizzle? It finally came up. Okay, so next up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take about half of my Parmesan or Pecorino cheese. This happens to be Parmesan that I brought back from Parma in Emilia-Romagna in Italy. And that is a fun visit, y'all. Oh my gosh, it's like everyone's dream of cheese. And we have a friend in Parma that actually lets us in on the whole secret. And we don't just watch from a balcony, we get up close and personal making the Parmesan. So here's the Parmesan. I grated it freshly, and I'm gonna use about half of it right into my pan. Oops. So far in here, I have the onions and garlic that I sauteed earlier with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, cauliflower, a little bit of parsley. Now I've got a little bit of cheese, and I am gonna top it off with just a little bit more salt and pepper. So I got my salt lady here. And a little bit more pepper. Oh, I forgot, I did put those red pepper flakes in. I find when I use vegetables like this that are very bland, you know, cauliflower is just like a little sponge to soak up all the other yummy ingredients in next to it. I find that when I use something like cauliflower, I always kind of try to put a little bit of something spice in there because it really adds to the flavor. Okay, so we are nicely browning now, and I'm gonna do one more thing, and then I'm gonna top it, and it can go right in the oven. I'm gonna put just a little bit, about 2 tablespoons more olive oil on here to moisten it a little bit. So here we go. And on the recipe, it says 4 tablespoons olive oil divided. Remember, people, when a recipe says divided, that means it's used in at least 2 places in the recipe. Once, twice, it could even be used 3 or 4 times. But divided means it's used in more than one place. So here we go. Oh my gosh, it smells so good in here. And I'm literally going to turn this off and get the topping ready, and we'll be done. And I'm going to show you what it looks like because it is gorgeous. Oh, yay. Okay, so garlic, I can smell that garlic now, some red onions, the olives. And last but not least, whoops, the topping. So I have the rest of my cheese that I had, I only used half of it. I'm gonna put in some chopped pistachio, and y'all, I just chopped this really coarsely. I've got some little teeny pieces, I've got some bigger pieces, because if you remember, or if you've taken a class with me before, you know that I think about 3 things when I'm cooking. First of all, what does it look like? If it doesn't look good, nobody's gonna wanna eat it. 2, what does it taste like? It doesn't matter if it's healthy or not, if it doesn't taste good. So we're making healthy food that tastes great. And 3, I always want to think about texture, because texture makes you want to eat and enjoy. So I've got so many different textures in here, but I'm missing one super duper texture, and that is coming from the nuts, which is going to be super crunchy. So I just put my nuts in with my cheese. I'm going to sprinkle it on top of this gorgeous cast iron pan, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven at 375. It's going to take about 20 minutes. I just want it to be golden brown and kind of roasty toasty on the top. So I'm going to, ooh, this is heavy. And I want to show it to you before it goes in. Look at that. Can you believe how gorgeous that is? Okay, going into the oven in just a second. All right, stop. And that's it. So this is what Mike and I are going to have for dinner tonight. So just like the last 2 days on the blog post, day 1, celebrate Sicily. Day 2, celebrate Sicily. On day 3, tomorrow, on day 4, I'm going to show you what it looked like for dinner tonight after it's all cooked and yummy. But before I do that, I have one more thing I want to show you, and that is the wine to drink with your Sicilian cauliflower gratin. And I have a rosé, and it's from Regalau. It's a fabulous winery. Go on my website and look up the name, and you can see on their website how beautiful this place is. Anyway, this is 100% Nerello Mascalese grapes. Say that 3 times fast. Again, one of those Sicilian grapes we don't drink often enough, but this is a rosé, and y'all look at the color of this wine. They named this wine Le Rosé, even though they're Sicilian. It says Le Rosé on the label, and it comes from the thousands of roses they have on their property. So I'm going to call this color rosé, although to be honest with you, when I look at it on a white background, it looks kind of copper to me. So I'm going to swirl and smell it. Oh my gosh, berries and cherries and strawberries and lemon and luscious. I'm going to taste it now. Oh my gosh, this flavor just explodes in my mouth. I'm going to judge it in just a sec. I always say I'm not going to judge it until I take my second sip. That was hard not to, though. Checking out the acidity on the back of either side of my tongue. It's got great acid. Remember, acidity in wine helps wine pair well with food. I think this wine is going to go great with the cauliflower gratin tonight with the olives and the cheese and the yummy cauliflower, sauteed onions. So that's the story of the cauliflower gratin. I will join you tomorrow with another recipe, but make sure and look up on tasteandsavor.com. Go across the top when you see blog, click on blog, and the Taste and Savor blog is right there. And you can find the recipes for today and for the last 2 days right on the blog. So ciao, look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and celebrate Sicily.